Coming up today, weakening tropical storm Chan-hom moves further north, but it's still lashing Korea's southern regions with heavy rain and strong winds. A full summit of all EU members has been cancelled, while difficult Eurozone talks on a third bailout deal for Greece continue in Brussels. First, as Tokyo attempts to whitewash history, another document has emerged that proves Japan forced Koreans into slave labour at a controversial World War II site that recently won UNESCO World Heritage recognition. Stay tuned for these stories and more. Hello to our viewers around the world. It's 6 a.m. on Monday, July 13th here in Seoul. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Mark Broom. And we start with weather-related news. Typhoon Chan-hom, that's since been downgraded to a tropical storm, is currently heading north across North Korea and is expected to continue weakening as it passes over Pyongyang later in the day. South Korea's weather agency says a typhoon watch issued earlier in parts of South Korea has now been lifted. Chan-hom has brought heavy downpours to the southern part of the peninsula, with mountainous regions on Jeju Island receiving more than 1,400 millimetres of precipitation so far. As you can see, the heavy rain there. Strong winds have also toppled trees and traffic lights in the country's southern regions. Fortunately, no casualties have been reported. The Korean government has organised a task force with the United States to investigate an erroneous shipment of live anthrax to a US base in Korea back in April. Korea's foreign ministry says the task force, formed under the joint Seoul-Washington Committee on the Status of Forces Agreement, will review the incident and work to prevent a reoccurrence. The two countries will hold separate committee meetings on Wednesday to discuss the shipment, review how the countries responded to the incident, and outline priorities for the task force. The Status of Forces Agreement governs the legal status of some 28,500 US troops stationed here in Korea since the Korean War, which ended in an armistice back in 1953. A newly released document proves Japan forced Koreans into slave labour at a controversial World War II site that recently gained UNESCO World Heritage recognition. Kim Moon-gil, who is an honorary professor of Busan University of Foreign Studies, helped Seoul-based Yonhap News Agency obtain the 3-page document from an undisclosed Japanese museum. Now, this document was written by the Yamano coal mine and calls for the construction of a barbed wire fence on a wall surrounding a dormitory for Korean workers to prevent them from climbing over it. The mine